Battle Through the Heavens, Grand World. Chapter 247 Yun Luo's Training. Creak. Following the sound of the door opening, Xiaoyan walked out of the room. After 2 days of hard work, he finally extracted the blood essence of the Earth Fire Profound Crystal Beast and merged it with the White Tiger arts that he was cultivating. Although he did not feel much, he could vaguely sense that the meridians circulating the White Tiger arts had become slightly stronger. Among the 3 forms of the White Tiger, I need to learn the 3rd form of the White Tiger spiritual spell as soon as possible. Without the powerful monarch skill, I can't feel at ease. Sighing, Xiaoyan left the inn. During the past 2 days, he had also communicated deeply with the Xiaoao. Regarding the unusual phenomenon that the latter had displayed during the battle with the Earth Fire Profound Crystal Beast, the Xiaoao had also made a vague statement. At that moment, his ki erupted. The ability that was hidden within his bloodline was also completely unlocked. After killing the Earth Fire Profound Crystal Beast, his body became extremely weak. If he didn't eat that egg fragment in time, it might really hurt his foundation. After hearing the Xiaoao's words, Xiaoyan also became silent. The Xiaoao was a holy beast that followed Elder Yi in his past life. It was understandable that it had the memories of his past life in its bloodline. However, with the former's weak strength, he was able to unleash such a powerful attack. It was reasonable for him to be injured. The only fortunate thing was that it did not hurt his foundation. If the White Tiger spiritual spell was successfully cultivated, it would be a genuine mid-grade monarch arts. Even if it was a monarch emperor level expert, it wouldn't be inferior to it. Yunluo Academy. In a valley, there was a hubbub of voices. Hundreds of young men and women were gathered here, whispering to each other. Most of these students were new students who had just entered the school in recent years. In recent years, the Yunluo Academy had cancelled the entrance exam. It was changed to a few weeks after they entered the school. They would be led by their seniors from previous years to the capital of chaos for a month. This way, it would prevent some of the students from using their family's influence to complete their own trials. Under the gazes of those who were filled with childishness, dozens of figures slowly appeared from the mouth of the valley. When they saw these people, all the students quietened down. Their gazes were somewhat fiery as they looked at these figures. The leader, an old man with a white beard, was hale and hearty. His gaze, which was filled with dignity, swept across the hundreds of students present. He slowly opened his mouth and said, "All of you have been here for nearly 3 to 4 months, and most of you have gotten familiar with this place. The reason why I made all of you wait for so long is because the seniors who were going to lead you to Capital of Chaos for the past few days have just finished their cultivation. Their strength is quite formidable. You have 10 people in a group. They will become the leaders of your group in the Capital of Chaos. Each group of you will have to complete the corresponding mission. Your leaders have already been selected, so you can only complete the mission. Otherwise, go back to where you came from." After hearing the white-bearded old man's indifferent voice, the hearts of all the students trembled. Of course, there was no lack of sneering people among them. Alarmist words. Even the Star Sky Academy isn't as serious as this. Even the Yunluo Academy, who is ranked last, is spouting nonsense here. Behind them, a young man wearing a blue brocade robe had a proud expression on his face. When he heard this, he couldn't help but snort disdainfully. When the young man beside him heard this, he smiled coldly and nodded his head. This was an academy that had been suppressed by the Star Sky Academy for several years. He wasn't afraid of being tongue-tied when he said such boastful words. If it wasn't for the fact that the Star Sky Academy's entrance competition is too strict, I would have come here. The young man who had spoken earlier snorted coldly and muttered to himself. The white-bearded old man slightly looked in the direction of the young man, but didn't say anything. He continued to introduce the general content of this trial. "Guyuan, I didn't expect that you have also reached the 5th Dao Monarch Spirit. I thought that I was the only one who has reached this realm. This is truly infuriating." Among the dozens of people behind the white-bearded old man, Zukun and Guyuan were among them. After listening to Zukun's words, Guyuan smiled gently and said, "I have been cultivating an illusory spirit realm for such a long time. It's not right that I haven't made any progress." Due to the cultivation of the Origin Monarch Ki, Guyuan was not as old as he was in the Fighting Ki continent. His face was that of an ordinary young man. However, that kind of indifferent and majestic aura caused all the elders in the academy to feel ashamed of being inferior to him. Zhu Kun gently smiled. This is really like your style. Although Zhu Kun had reached a terrifying age in fighting Qi continent for tens of thousands of years, he had mostly recovered his youth in this place, just like 10,000 years ago, in his prime. Xuan and Kai Lin have also entered the illusory spirit realm. With their talent, I estimate that they will most likely advance to the monarch spirit. Guyuan narrowed his eyes and said faintly. That's nothing. When we entered, we were only at the sovereign realm. It's already enough for us to reach this level in 4 years. Zhu Kun did not care at all. A man with thick black hair looked at Guyuan and said with a bitter smile, it's not just that. When we went in, we were already at the monarch spirit. In these 4 years, we have only reached the 6th Dao monarch spirit. If we really fight, we are absolutely no match for you, Brother Gu. You and Brother Zhu are the most talented men I have ever seen. After listening to what the green-clothed man said, Guyuan smiled and said, Brother, you are being too harsh on us. You also know that Zhu Kun and I have broken through to the next realm because of the fighting monarch of lower realm. When the man in green heard this, he shook his head with a bitter smile. Although he knew, the talent of these two people was too shocking. What is your mission? After smiling mischievously, Zhu Kun looked at the students in front of him and said in a solemn voice. Capital of Chaos was not a place to play. There was a risk of losing one's life at any time. Although most missions were not difficult, there was also the possibility of encountering unexpected incidents. Wu Shiwen, ranked 330 on the Academy's fierce ranking, take his head. Guyuan helplessly sighed. Those who were able to obtain fierce rankings were mostly bullies in Capital of Chaos. Although those who were ranked 200 and below were small fries, it still depended on their own strength. Wu Shiwen was merely a 6 paths monarch spirit. With his strength, killing the former was not difficult, but his main task was to train these new students. In the Capital of Chaos where danger lurked everywhere, this was much more difficult. 330 fierce rankings. With your strength, it won't be a problem for you to be careful. Zhu Kun smiled and patted Guyuan's shoulder. A purple light flashed in his eyes, and he whispered into Guyuan's ear, 330 fierce ranking. With your strength, it is not a problem for you to be careful. These new students are very arrogant. Sometimes, it's not bad to teach them a lesson. Guyuan nodded. His sharp eyes swept across the hundreds of young men in front of him. Of course I know these people. They are the patriarchs of some major families. It wouldn't make sense if they don't have such means. Zhu Kun nodded his head in satisfaction. He didn't say anything else. With his and Guyuan's strength, as long as they didn't encounter any monarch emperor warriors or above, they wouldn't have any problem escaping. This time, the trial wasn't only for the new students, it was also for the old students like them. I wonder how Xiao Yan is doing right now. With his abilities, I'm afraid he has already reached the monarch spirit level. Guyuan sighed and said in a low voice. Zhu Kun heard what he said and smiled. We have been cultivating all day in illusory spirit realm. We relied on the vigorous origin monarch Qi to advance to the 5th Dao monarch spirit. Xiao Yan will definitely break through to the monarch spirit by himself, but he won't be able to surpass us. Guyuan pursed his lips and didn't say anything. Zhu Kun sneered when he saw this. Old man, I didn't know you could surpass your son-in-law and show off your father-in-law's power. You should just enjoy it secretly. Guyuan smiled awkwardly when Zhu Kun said it. His face couldn't help but turn red. He pretended to cough and said, you can't say that. Xiao Yan's strength is naturally better. It doesn't matter if he is stronger than me. He can prove how good Xuan judgment is. Zhu Kun snorted and rolled his eyes. If I had known earlier, I would have let Xiao Yan marry Zi Yan in fighting Qi continent. Guyuan smiled awkwardly. Just as he was about to speak, the white-bearded elder coughed lightly. Everyone's expression immediately became solemn. Now, all the leaders will lead their students to the Capital of Chaos. The trial has officially begun. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.